What's up, everyone? You already know who it is. We have a special video for you guys, dude. It's been a minute since I talked about any gaming console. I think the last time I talked about a Sony console was probably the PSP videos, maybe, but I did a PS3 video early on this year, but I've literally, not even joking, I've had the PlayStation 4 in my possession for so long, and I've just kept postponing these videos because I'm not gonna lie, these ones are a little harder to make because I'm not a huge gamer. I don't have like crazy years of experience with these things. So I kind of have to learn about these specific consoles, but I had a little bit of time on my hands today, so I'm like, you know what, let's knock it out. We're going to be looking at the original PlayStation 4. Okay, now there's a couple PlayStation 4s out right now. There's the original, there's the Slim, and there's the Pro. We're going to be looking at the first one that came out. This one came out in 2013, so it's about 6 years old. I've seen some conflicting things. Some say it came out in 2013. Some other people are saying that in different countries it came out in 2014. So kind of based on your country, I'm not too sure, but in America, as far as I know, it came out in 2013. So this thing is about 6 years old this year, and it's kind of crazy because according to some rumors and reports, the PlayStation 5 could be coming out very, very soon. So it might be like kind of weird to make this video now, especially this is the first PlayStation 4 video I've done on my channel. But let's go ahead and see how the original PlayStation 4 holds up in 2019. Now I'm going to tell you right now, like I said, I don't have that much gaming experience. I don't game at all, really, that much. The only games that I've played were Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, maybe some Mario here and there, and some Zelda, the older ones. But I'm going to tell you right now, after I got Spyro, the Reignited Trilogy on the PlayStation 4, I could not put that down. I was like literally so excited. It's unbelievable. Like, I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it. And once I'm done with this video, I'm going to go back and play it. But like I stated before, there were refreshes in 2016 for the PlayStation 4, the Slim, and the Pro, but I'm going to make separate videos on those eventually. But the PlayStation 4 was the successor to the PlayStation 3 lineup, which in my opinion was kind of weird. I mean, they had like the original one, they had the Slim, then they had the other one, then they had like so many, there was like way too many variants in my opinion, but I feel like there were the same amount of variants for the PlayStation 4, but I don't know, I guess it's whatever. Now looking around the actual console, it's pretty minimalistic, you know, there's not a lot of crazy things going on with it. I feel like with the original PlayStation 3, it just seems like, I don't know, to me, like it was like glossy. It definitely looks really, really good and like timeless. But with the PlayStation 4, they kind of took like the Nexus 5 approach. I know that's kind of stupid, but like the Nexus 4, I feel like was the PlayStation 3, the shininess, all these flashy things. But then with the Nexus 5, it was more minimalistic in a way. And the same thing with the PlayStation 4. Kind of a dumb analogy if you even know what a Nexus phone is, like the Google Net, whatever. But on the front, we had two USB ports, as well as a power button and the ejection button. But on the back, you have the HDMI, USB, and Ethernet port as well. And another port, I honestly don't remember the name of it, but it has that other port as well. As you can tell, I'm not that smart at these things. But that's pretty much the console itself. However, it did have the new updated controller, which in my opinion, I think the PlayStation 3 controller was really, really good. But this one did have a little bit of an upgrade. Now, as you can see, it looks pretty different from the original PlayStation 3 controller. On top, it does have the touchpad, which I've heard a lot of conflicting stuff about. You know, when I first booted it up, it was like my third time ever using a PS4 controller. And I think honestly, like it does have its place. Like I think it's cool, but I think ultimately at the end of the day, it's kind of like a gimmick. Like I feel like it's just one extra thing. Like it's almost like the PlayStation Vita with a touchpad on the back. Like yes, it's cool and like it's potentially like a cool thing that can be implemented in so many games, and it already has, you know, it's like this thing's been out for 6 years now, so all these different games and everything have that capability. But I just think, I don't know, like it's kind of a gimmicky thing, and for them to put this much space on the front of the controller dedicated to just this one little touchpad thing, I think it's kind of an unnecessary thing. And honestly, like I feel like in my opinion, every time I've ever used a PS4 controller, that specific touchpad thing on top has always been super like rockety and stuff. Like it's been super like unstable in my opinion. So it's like, I don't know. It's just a really weird thing in my opinion. And I just feel like if they didn't put it in, then it would have been one thing, and it would have just been like a one less thing to worry about on the top. But I think it's okay. I just think it's a little funny looking at the end of the day. And that pretty much covers up everything on the outside of both the controller and the console itself. And I feel like, you know, it's just like any other upgrade from a console. You know, you want it to be better at performing, you want it to have more features, and you want it to give you a better experience than the previous console. And I think the PS4 ultimately covers its bases there. You know, I don't think it really like like balled out in any one specific category, but also at the same time, I don't think it was super bad, and I don't think it was like horrible in one category either. And just like with the PS3, it did have a built-in Blu-ray player, which I feel like every year that progresses, we go further and further away from actual discs. And as you know, with like all these different like Netflix and all these different things, HBO now, like I don't think anybody's buying Blu-ray players anymore. But with the PS4, you can still download Netflix, you can download Hulu, you can download whatever you want to, and still be able to watch these shows and movies and all those different things. And interestingly enough, with the PS4, you can play movies and I guess stream in 4K, but you can't play games in 4K, which is kind of weird. It's not that big of a deal to me. I honestly don't really care that much, but in 2019, you might expect more from a console. So this would make sense for you if you're in that camp where you're like, man, I need something that can stream in 4K and all these different things and play games in 4K. Then upgrading to the PlayStation 4 Pro probably would be a smarter thing in terms of that. Now, in terms of the actual game selection of this console, it's actually very decent in my opinion. You have tons of super high quality games that are out for this console, and I think this is a case where it's like quality over quantity. I think quality of the games that are for the PlayStation 4 are very good. I just don't think, in my opinion, that there's like a ton of console games out there. Like, yes, there are. Obviously, there's like always going to be an infinite amount of games out there, but I feel like with the past consoles, there's been a way more, I guess, hype about certain games that were, I guess, console driven. Like, for example, with the PlayStation Store, you can still download a bunch of games from that specific store that are also available for the Xbox and the Switch and even your Android and iPhone. So it's like, for example, like Fortnite, like that's not a specific console game, that's just for all consoles. However, back in the day, like with the Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, that was a specific console game. Like with the PlayStation 1, that was really, really popular for that specific console, but now it's like available for all consoles. So I think it's kind of cool, but I also think it's kind of weird. I don't know, it's kind of my thing. But essentially with Fortnite and these big games being free and being available through the PlayStation Store and through the app stores, that'll make it so in the future, we're going to be stepping away further and further from actual discs and like going to GameStop or Best Buy to pick up games, and we're just going to be downloading everything from the PlayStation Store. So I think in terms of that and in terms of the game selection and everything, I think you'll be set. Like, I don't think there's a really, really crazy negative with this game selection. Like I said, like I think for me, it's very good. For you, you might have differing opinions. I think my only gripe with the PlayStation 4 is that there is no backwards compatibility, which makes no sense to me at all, okay? I understand the later versions of the PlayStation 3 didn't have backwards compatibility either, but I feel like with the PlayStation 4, it should have had something. Like, how dope would it be to even at least have the PlayStation 3 lineup with this console as well? We don't need the PlayStation 2, okay, or the PlayStation 1. Just give us that PlayStation 3 lineup, let us play all those games on it. Like, that would have been so insane. And that's why, like, if this thing did have it, I would have said the game selection and experience would have been crazy, because there's so many classic PlayStation 3 games that we would never be able to play now if we only own a PlayStation 4. Like, I know we can go get a PlayStation 3 and buy that, of course, but just having one console, like, I don't think it would have like costed Sony that much extra money to just put a PlayStation 3, like have the ability to play PlayStation 3 games on it. Like, I understand it wouldn't be free and it might have cost them money, whatever, but I think ultimately in the long run, it would have probably helped them out. But it's just so weird. It never made any sense to me why Sony did that. But I guess now it's totally okay. You know, this was 6 years ago, but you can still even buy PlayStation 3. They're available on eBay for super, super cheap. They are not expensive at all. But in order for you to play PlayStation 3 games, you have to have a PlayStation 3, which is so weird. I don't know why they did that. I think they did it so right with the original PlayStation 3, where you could do backwards compatibility for PS2 and PS1 games, which is crazy. But another little gripe when actually playing the games on the PlayStation 4 is that sometimes it does get kind of loud. Now, I've heard with newer models of the PlayStation 4 that loud fan noise just kind of changed a little bit and it's gotten lower and lower. But with the original one, with the one specific one I have, and I've heard so many other people complaining about this too, that there's been a huge that's kind of a common problem in the community, is the fan noise. You know, it's not a huge deal. It's not like going to be a deal breaker for me, and I'm still going to be playing the Spyro trilogy, but it is kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. And if that's not a big deal for you, then obviously it's not going to matter. But if it is going to be a big deal, but that's when I would recommend you to go get a PlayStation 4 Pro. Now, price-wise, okay, when this thing came out brand new 6 years ago, it was $399. That was brand new. If you walked into Best Buy or whatever, that's how much you would be paying. But since then, it has depreciated quite a bit for the hardware. The games are still kind of expensive. They're still kind of the same price. Even the used prices of the games really haven't gone down that much, I'll be honest, from what I can see. But you can pick a PlayStation 4 up right now for around $150. So that includes all the accessories and at least one controller. My specific one that I bought, I think it was $130, but for the average price, it was around $150, all of the ones that I've seen. And that's for the original PlayStation 4. So in my opinion, for the hardware to play those games, I think that's a pretty decent price. Like, I don't think that's a super expensive price, and I think that's actually on the lower side, to be honest. Like, you're getting very, very decent game selections, you're getting high quality games, you're getting all these games through the App Store, through the PlayStation Store that are still going to be there even years and years down the line. So ultimately, I mean, the original PlayStation 4 is still an awesome pickup. It's just kind of weird here and there. It does have its quirks, like the no backwards compatibility or not being able to play games in 4K, and the controller kind of being a little funny. But I mean, ultimately, if you want something a bit better, you can always pick up the PlayStation 4 Pro. That's kind of what it's there for. If you're not okay with the original PlayStation 4, you can always spend more money to get the higher end PS4 Pro. But for the vast majority of people, I think the original PlayStation 4 is still a very good deal, and that's why I picked it up, man. I think I'm going to keep this one. I think it's a very decent console, and ultimately, if you have $150 to spend for a console, I think the PlayStation 4 is a decent starting point at least. So that's pretty much all I have to say. If you have any questions or concerns, or you have anything to add, please let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your opinions on things. Hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the video, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out to them.